Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City Media podcast. Stepping up to the microphones are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. ASMR. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
Happy birthday to you, Tigers Untapped. It's episode 52, bud. 52 episodes, 52 weeks.
Weeks in a year. Got it.
We are officially 1 year old as the Untapped family.
1 year old. It took me a second to understand what you meant by that.
What?
You said 52, like episode 52. I was like, cool.
When we do one a week.
52. Yep, I'm with you now. I'm with you, dude.
TJ.
Took me a little second.
Happy post-Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was supposed to bring you
Pecan pie,
Pecan pie,
and
and I
you
surely
didn't
forgot.
bring it. I did have some over the holiday. It was fine.
I'm gonna be honest. I probably would have crushed it, and you wouldn't even had a chance.
Due to the basketball team coming back 2-1 from the Bahamas, we are drinking Tropical AF this evening. It is a doesn't sound delicious. It's a coconut milkshake IPA. Not a huge fan of coconut,
It's a Meddlesome beer, coconut milkshake,
which
IPA.
have been good brews.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of rotate mine for a second. I don't know what to expect here.
A lot of, I don't know where the milkshake part's coming in.
Getting a lot of cocoa
It's
nut.
very tropical.
Well, I'm like you. I never really liked coconut until I became an adult. Have you ever had an Almond Joy?
Yeah, they're horrible.
No, they are incredible.
I love Almond Joys.
Dude, I hated them growing up. I think probably the moment I turned like 30, I was like, you know what? Like I just tried one day and I was like, damn, that is delicious.
That might be the problem. I don't think that I've tried one since I was maybe 12. It's good. It hits you, doesn't it? We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through the episode.
I don't know where you pick these beers out from, but
I got a spot.
all right.
I feel like it just resides back there, huh?
Yeah, it's not going away. It's kind of like the smelling salts. You just
Hey,
Take a sip of the beer and then do the smelling salts.
oh, yeah. I made a beer run before I came in.
I mean,
so
we're
stocked
doing
this
a
up.
little home reno, and I've just been having to smell oil paint for the past 7 days. So
I knew your eyes were looking a little crossed today.
I use that oil-based stuff.
Yeah, you can't really crack a window. I mean, it's too cold.
No, you can't. Well, and now they're painted shut, so definitely can't crack them.
It's gonna be an issue.
No, I've cracked them. It doesn't get too bad.
Where do you want to start? We won in Philadelphia for like the first time ever.
First time
That's actually not
ever. We beat one Philly team this
Yeah.
week. Not so much the other one. We'll get to that later.
Why you got to bring in the bad news?
Tej. Shout out to Ryan Silverfield for going 4-0 on the road
Yes.
in conference after really struggling his first several years to win conference. I think he'd only beaten Navy on the road twice.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
Not this year. He says, I'm going to go on the road and win all of them.
I think it's easy to look at the schedule and just say, let's be frank, it wasn't the most competitive, the most difficult schedule out there. The road schedule.
4-0 in conference, 5-0 including Arkansas State.
Yeah.
In true road games. What a turnaround.
I do think what year was that? We lost at ECU. Was that
Last year.
last year, right?
Yeah. What, in quadruple overtime?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of games that were super close that we lost on the road in conference. It didn't feel like we were just getting smashed in all those road games, but we were finding a way to lose.
His first year, you were in field goal range to beat SMU on the road, and you fumbled. So they
I think they smashed us. I think SMU ended up crushing us one year, getting away from it pretty quickly at the end.
I don't think so. Not under Ryan. His first year, we lost by 3 last-second field goal because we fumbled. Last year when we played there, we lost by 3. Seth threw a pick in the end zone at the end of the game.
What year was that?
That would be the only 2 road games we had at SMU.
Maybe it was it not SMU? One of them they got away. It was pretty close, and they kind of got away with it.
Houston?
It was Houston.
Yeah.
It was Houston. You're correct.
Yep.
Yeah. What was that one?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, I remember that. I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure we've kept all the road games relatively close.
I mean,
There
that
was
one was
that
close
got
going
away
in the
with.
fourth quarter, and they kind of
Yeah,
scored
that was it. They scored.
3 tutties late, maybe.
We lost 13-31.
Yeah, but it was like 20-13, and we had the ball, created a turnover or something like that. Encyclopedia up here.
It is impressive how you have the ability to pull that stuff in. Like, I swear, it's
I don't
like
know what
you.
to tell you.
We don't talk about this beforehand, so I don't know. It's not like he's practicing and looking
No,
stuff up. Before.
I didn't know TJ was going to bring these games up.
No, not at all.
Man, Hawkinson's got a head of hair. That is some lettuce.
I know. That's
Your
nice.
Vikes are up now.
I literally changed clothes because I was like, this is embarrassing, and because last
Wow.
week you
You
guys
had
gave me so
something
much
Vikings
heat
on?
from wearing something non-Memphis based to the podcast.
So you thought you'd bust out the Cotton Bowl. You just spilled beer all over
That
yourself.
was called trying to get rid
Is
of
that
it.
because that's disgusting?
Yeah,
You're
trying to get rid of
wasting
it.
beer on purpose now. TJ, we're 9-3. We beat the brakes off of Temple 45-21. Overall, pretty solid game. I mean, you did what you're supposed to. Defense is still a little suspect. You still gave up 465 freaking yards to Temple and EJ Dilbert Warner. Threw for 330 and 2 tuds on us.
He does that.
They also had only created 2 interceptions the entire year, and then Seth proceeded to throw it directly to a man who was wearing a club for one hand.
Yeah, that's actually kind of impressive if we're being real honest. I don't even know how you catch that.
3 interceptions all year, and one of them was by a club hand man.
I was trying to look up. Temple's actually, in terms of passing the ball, they can move the ball through the air. I remember looking at the stats.
TJ, a lot of people can throw the ball in the air.
Yes, they are the 25th most passing yards in the nation.
That's fine. It's because they've been playing from behind every game.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely plays a part of it, but I do think they could just move the ball through the air. Was kind of my point.
Was this the best start to a Ryan Silverfield game ever? Given the Sutton Smith kickoff return to the 50 and then a 54-yard one-play, 18-second drive to go up 7-0 instantly?
I don't know. You guys spoke a...
Have we scored faster than that in the Ryan Silverfield era?
Probably not, no.
No.
You guys spoke a lot of high praise for that Navy start that I missed. Looking for my freaking card.
Well, that was a good start, but there were multiple plays.
Yeah.
in
I
that
get what you
series.
mean.
I don't know that we've scored that fast since, here we go, Cincy 2019 returned the opening kick on Senior Day. How about that? Chris Claybook.
I forgot all about that guy. How many random NFL defensive backs do we have
So
out
many.
there?
How was Arthur Mollett good in the NFL?
This thing is bringing demons out of me.
TJ, we've evolved. Kenny, I don't know if you've noticed this. We are way beyond StreamYard and TJ muting his mic to burp. He's just letting him rip now in studio.
Look, that one was happening. If I allowed it or not, that was coming out of me.
Okay.
You pick your poison.
Do you remember when we first started this and TJ would
Yeah, he thought he was muting.
he thought
and
he was muting the mic
I was muting the mic. I was not muting my laptop.
the whole time? Dude, first time I edited one of y'all's podcasts, I almost threw up like 6 times.
Four tutties minus the club pick. Watson surpassed 1,000 yard, our first 1,000-yard rusher since what, Kenny? In 19?
Has to be.
I'm here for it. 15 carries, 95 yards, and a tud on the ground. I think he had a receiving tud too. Skates, obviously the big play, 78 yards receiving, 1 tutty. I was fine with it. Defense gave up a lot of yards, but you only allowed them to score 3. One of those being like super late into the game. 75, although I needed it because I needed it to hit the over. Had over 65.5, and what did it finish at? 66. Little parlay of the Tigs minus 14 and over 65.5. Double whammy, cash it.
Trey, I'm going to hit you with some trivia. Blake Watson had 1,045 rushing yards and 463 receiving yards. Where does that put him nationally in total all-purpose yards? It's kind of tough. You're just making up a number here, right?
I don't know. 12th.
No, it was 19th, but I guess that's a respectable guess.
That's close, Teach.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a 40-yard difference. It's pretty close. That's what I'm saying.
It's a damn good guess.
Yeah, but look at that. 1,500 all-purpose yards. I think that's pretty impressive.
Gosh, I wish we had one more year of Blake.
Yeah, that'd be real nice. Not to say that, like, I am kind of excited about the Sutton Bull, Ducker backfield, and whoever they're probably going to pick up in the portal. Like, I'm not.
Do we not have?
What?
Has he played 5 years of football?
Yeah. He's done. No, he's done.
He's only played 4.
He's done.
He's only played 4 years.
Trey's done.
Okay.
He's done.
Why did he not? Did Old Dominion not play football in 2020?
Maybe they didn't do anything because of the COVID year.
I guess I don't know. His stats go from 19 to 21 all for ODU. There's no 2020 in there. Or has ESPN just erased the 2020 season from its database?
He was an 18 freshman. I think he redshirted 18.
Old Dominion Monarchs, no data available for 2020.
Interesting. So you do lose Blake, unfortunately. Womp, 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 womp.
TJ, that's not the only losses we're going to incur, and not from graduation. We've had a couple portal hits. It's that time of year, although it's not officially open. Doesn't open until
The 4th?
Monday, a week from today.
December 4th. Is
Is that right? I think that's right, the 4th. Tevin Carter, backup QB, QB2, QB Deuce, the Deucer.
Deuce 1.
He's,
What do you want from that?
I don't know. He's calling it. He's calling his career. He's no longer Gridiron Penny. I'm sorry, Tevin, if you're watching me, that you are. You can't be Gridiron Penny anymore.
Yeah. I think you can't. You lost that.
Depending upon where he goes, he could be Gridiron, whoever they had.
I mean, look. What an up and down. I don't even want to call it career.
What, last 3 weeks?
For him.
On top of the world with the 85-yard touchdown pass at that point in time. Was that the longest tutty of the year? High on life. He stepped
I don't
in
know how he could get much
in a tough spot
further.
against South Florida. Very next week, thrown in, kind of same sitch, and you throw maybe one of the worst picks I've
it is not
literally
one of the worst
ever
picks.
seen.
Outside of maybe the club hand pick, but it's definitely one of the worst interceptions.
And then now you're just out of here.
Which is really interesting because I know a lot of people, anytime Seth struggled somewhat, they were like, gotta play Tevin.
Well, even if it wasn't necessarily him struggling, people were still asking for Tevin.
which is bananas to me. But
Special packages, people want all sorts of stuff. Overnight deliveries for Tevin.
here I am still going back to this and every sip.
Well, you're thirsty, bud. He's not the only. The one that really, I think, is going to be. It's not. Look, a lot of people may not see it this way because offensive line is not. It's not sexy.
It's not sexy.
Gabe,
Sorry,
I'm
Gabe.
sorry.
You're
It's
not
just not a
sexy.
sexy position.
Gabe's
People
not
are
sexy.
like. I mean, I've seen it. People are coming at Twitter and are like, offensive line. It's easy to replace, easy to find those fellas. It's not a big deal. Losing Davion Carter is a big deal.
I'd agree.
He has been I would say all year long, our best offensive lineman. Consistency wise,
Sure.
no penalties, not really giving up tackles for a loss or sacks, anything. I mean, he's just been consistent in doing his job all year long. Been there in the interior line for 2 years now. That's a 2-year starter, basically.
Yeah.
I know he got thrown in due to injury, but I mean, he's been consistent since he's been starting in there.
So per PFF, if you're into like the PFF grading, looking at
He's top 10
Yeah, looking at the top offensive linemen in the group of 5, excluding SMU, since they are leaving, Davion finished number 7 overall. It's pretty good. That's with a ranking.
What's the difference in his score versus 1?
10 points. So Clay Webb from Jacksonville State actually finished with an 89.9 grade, which is pretty absurd. And Davion finished with a 79.4. And just keep this in mind to kind of put it in perspective. Sincere Haynesworth is the center at Tulane, and he is supposed to be a pretty high-level draft pick, 78.8. So Davion finished higher than Sincere Haynesworth in that ranking. So take
Job
that
well
for
done.
what you want.
But no, I think that's, literally and figuratively leaving a big hole right there in the OL.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a chance to pretty much bring that 5 back this coming year. You could have brought everybody back, and I think that would have gone a long way for next year's team. And now you kind of got to fill that gap of the void of arguably your best interior lineman.
Yeah. And I am curious how they fill that void, right? I mean, we've seen the transfer portal giveth and taketh away, right?
Sure.
So you could bring someone in. It could be someone from last year, a Mook Henderson from Arkansas. He was a local kid from MUS. Like I could see him sliding in there. There's a couple of options. We've seen some of these transfers work out.
Yeah.
We saw Xavier Hill. He kind of bounced around, and we'll see where he ends up. Right? I think we've heard praise the last 5 games of how flexible he has been and moving from position to position. Like, is he just going to fill in at right guard? Is he going to move to left tackle? Are people going to bump over? Like, what are they going to do about that? So it'll be interesting. I think they'll.
They got some time.
Yeah,
They got time to figure it out, but that doesn't mean it don't sting any less.
Not great. And then the worst part is it's not going to be the last one, right?
Oh,
I mean, there's so many potential guys that can hit the portal, and I don't want to speak it into existence, but look at Rock Taylor. I think he's a perfect example of a guy that makes sense to hit the portal.
Don't speak it into it. He listens.
I'm not.
He's going to take this advice and hit the portal.
Well, then he's going to continue to listen and understand where I'm going with this. Rock, look at Eddie Lewis. Look at Stonehands.
Look at Edwin.
He was here. He led the team in receiving. He thought the grass was going to be greener. He went to the SEC.
Let me ask you one question. Do you love the game or do you love the bag?
No, I love the bag. I'm going to be honest.
What?
What?
I want to play the game.
You can play the game.
For the love of the game.
I don't remember his actual.
I don't want to go to South Carolina, get paid a little bit more money, and then not
a little bit more. He got paid a lot of bit more money. But
whatever.
My point.
What do you want him to bench me?
It's awful. Eddie Lewis went on to do. He had 9 catches for 120 yards.
9 catches in 12 games.
Yeah. Just
TJ,
a reminder, he did 41 for 603 and
math.
7 touchdowns last year.
I'm not good at the math, but that's not even a catch a ball game.
No, it's not good, Bob. So just something to keep in mind when you hit the portal.
Yeah.
Not everyone's Eddie Lewis, right? I mean, Big Cam hit the portal, and he was pretty good this year. We had that big batted down pass in the game the other day. So, different strokes, different folks. But he is someone that fits the mold.
I get it. I
Of
get
a
it.
freak talent.
Sure.
And teams with money will easily call
And
him
he's got
in.
the size.
He's got the size. He's
Some
got
of
the
those-
strength. I mean, there's so much to it.
Yeah.
We can arbitrary number. We'll pay $200,000 just to come here and try to start for us.
Yeah.
$200,000 for a college kid? That's great.
Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely not the end of it. There's going to be more names, which sucks. When it's guys leaving, it makes you really hate the portal.
No, of course.
But like you said, it taketh, but it giveth as well.
Giveth,
so we'll start seeing some guys and get some signings of people coming our way to maybe help. Maybe another Blake Watson out there. Maybe another Demir, as Wola would call him, Blankenschmier. You never know.
It almost seemed like he had a personal vendetta against him.
What, Schmier?
Yeah, just like, how you going to get someone's name wrong?
I don't know.
Every
Multiple
time.
times. Blankenschmier. I don't even know where that's coming from, but I mean, it's
It's
not
Wola.
a bad name.
I think it's just Willow, man.
Maybe.
Comes with the territory of Willow.
All right, Tej. We are 9-3 on the year. A lot of projections currently
Ooh.
have us in the
gotta pull that back
AutoZone Liberty Bowl, a rematch of the 2017. I think we talked about this last week, but still, that's the projection. I think you got what you needed to happen in the games this past weekend of Clemson winning, Florida State winning. There was another one.
I thought an SEC had to lose.
Yeah. Well, they did. They all lost.
Yeah.
The teams we needed to lose lost.
I just remember who. I can't remember who it was specifically.
In South Carolina?
Yeah, that was the Clemson one. Clemson, Florida State, and there was one more, I thought. But anyway, we better stock up on the Busch Light, Busch Heavy. The Cyclones are coming.
There was one that was the Military Bowl versus Miami, and I'm not too interested in that.
I mean, honestly, after watching this week's Iowa State game in a blizzard, 2 feet of snow, and their running back ran for 300 yards.
Yeah, there was about 16 plays, I think, that went for like 60 yards plus.
I mean, it
no
was
joke.
absurd.
On both sides.
It was a wild, wild football game.
Hey, here's one that says Memphis versus James Madison in the Union Home Mortgage.
Yeah, they get to play in a bowl now because there's not enough teams.
Yeah. Good for them, though.
Good for them.
I don't want to play them.
Didn't necessarily win the appeal, but they are going to get to go bowling.
Yeah, I don't want to play them, though. Get that out of the way.
I mean, I don't know that I want to really play anybody at this rate.
What do you mean? We freaking smacked Utah State last year in a bowl game.
Yeah.
Not a sexy bowl, by the way.
Whatever. 9-3 success. Teach. Are you one of the Santa booers or no?
I think it depends where you draw that line of success, right? Because before the season, all we heard was conference championship.
Is meeting expectations successful?
In a sense, I think. So,
You just showed up, you did what you had to do, and you got out of there.
yeah, but I think with that is an asterisk because I do think that there was some growth in this team. Asterisk. I can't say it because my mouth. Asterisk. Because my mouth is sticky from freaking. Is yours not sticky?
Yours is sticky?
Yours isn't sticky?
There's no stickiness.
Mine's sticky. I think there was some growth, right? Like last year's team would have absolutely, pardon my French, shit the bed against a lot of these close games, and this year's team didn't. They fought through. Is it because there's lesser talent and you're scraping by? Maybe, right?
Is it just luck? I mean, we're top 10 in the nation in luck this year.
That's not luck, Trey.
I'm just telling you, it's a metric that exists.
I know it's a metric that exists. I think someone referred to it as, gosh, what did it say? Now you're going to make me look it up, man. Unbelievable. Silverfield Magic is what it was referenced as. Silverfield Magic, because that exists. No, I think it was success because we saw growth, and I think the team looked better this year than it has in the previous 3 years. The eye test, the defense is obviously atrocious. I don't think we can avoid that. I think the offense looked better. I think things are absolutely gelling. And maybe it was because of the personnel, right? Maybe it was because you had Rock evolve into that guy, and you had Blake Watson, and you had the Davion Carters and the Xavier Hill. Like you had everybody gelling together. Maybe that's what it was, right? Maybe it was the staff changes. I have no clue, but they clearly look better this year than they have in years past.
Yeah,
I know you don't necessarily think it is a success.
No, I mean, literally all you had to do was split one game at home of Tulane and SMU, and you didn't do it.
Yeah, they were competitive.
They
I guess
were.
If you want that silver lining.
I mean, you were real competitive for 40 minutes, 45 minutes against Tulane.
Yeah.
SMU, you were right there as well, back and forth the whole game. But, I mean, it's not – in this conference, finishing fourth, 9-3, I get it. Only what? We'd be the 10th – we're the 10th team in Memphis history to win 9 games, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is also such a jokingly easy schedule. And you were so close to losing to North Texas, to losing to Charlotte.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting here and we're talking about another 7-5, 6-6 type of year.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
I don't know.
I get it, but I can't. The strength of schedule kind of is what it is, right? Like you don't have any control over that.
I get that, but it's also like I think we should be competing for conference championships every year. I think both of our programs should. I think basketball and football, regular season conference champs. I think that is what you should be shooting for. It's an attainable goal. And I don't think 9-3 finishing fourth with 2 conference losses constitutes as competing for a conference title.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of conversation that goes around what is the definition of competing for a conference championship. Is it actually playing in the bowl? Is that like a clear-cut definition of it, or is it?
Yeah, to me, it would be finishing top 2 and playing for a conference title.
Like you were a 2-loss conference game.
Hell, if they had, even if they had ended up in a 3 or 4-way tie and gotten left out because of some tiebreaker, I would have counted that as competing.
So what about like a UTSA standpoint, where they are a 1-loss conference team, but they are not going to be in the conference championship? They're not competing for a conference championship, but like they were right there on the cusp. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you clearly define competing for a championship necessarily? You're a 1-loss team in conference. You lost 1 game, and it unfortunately was to the team that's in the bowl game.
Yep.
That's in the championship game, excuse me. You know? So it's very tricky, in my opinion, on how we define that. Like, they looked competitive. Yes, they finished 4th, but you also had 2 0-loss conference teams and a 1-loss conference team ahead of you. Like, what conference do you have 2 conference losses and you're not going to be even close, relatively, to the championship? The conference game. In conference, that is, of course. Penn State obviously left out. Kind of a rare occurrence there, just because of how good Ohio State.
But all these
Michigan
other,
are.
they all have. Well, no,
I know.
The Big
There's-
12,
it's
Big
hard to-
12 doesn't have divisions. does it?
Atlantic or
I don't think
ACC?
ACC has them.
Do they?
Yeah, I think every conference has them except for the Big 12.
Okay.
And I mean,
Yeah, I mean, okay. Look, Big 12, 8-1 Texas, 7-2 Oklahoma State, 7-2 Oklahoma. You got a 2-loss team in the conference championship.
yeah. Well, part of that is also because we were the only of the top 4. We were the only team. Well, I guess Tulane played us in UTSA.
10-2 Mizzou.
SMU only had to play us.
Wait, say that again. Oh yeah.
They didn't.
Their
The
schedule
top
was-
4 teams didn't play each other like.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like SMU only played us basically out of the top 4.
Like Mizzou is 6-2.
UTSA only played Tulane out of the top 4.
Yeah, I just think it was kind of a raw setup, but it is what it is, right? You know, I think Tulane probably got the worst because I think they had to play 2 of us, right?
Yeah.
They had to play UTSA and Memphis.
Yeah. I mean, and then us playing Tulane and SMU.
Oh yeah.
Although we got them both at home, still couldn't split. All right, let's take a break, and then we will come back, Tej, and we will relive the battle for Atlantis and finish up this coconut milk shake IPA. We'll be right back.
Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
I think he's in a space where he realizes you want to win championships, you want to be a part of big-time college football, you have to spend more. We have to get money, donors for the $50 million. You have to get money, donors for NIL. Like, I think he wants that to be the forefront. What he said here, though, did not convey that message in any meaningful way. I don't know what this quote does to help his case with those particular fans or with fans as a whole.
I get it why you're not supposed to go after a fan base, why you're not supposed to trash a fan base, and I don't think it was the best move. But I will say, and this is probably where I'll differ from most people, it is good to hear Ryan like kind of get a little bit fired up.
Yeah, show a little fire. I get you.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I ain't got shit to say, bro. We sorry as hell sitting on shit.
I got much to say.
We ain't got shit on shit going out there, man. I'm hearing people talk about my boy Anthony Edwards talking about the fan experience ain't the same.
You
and,
knew that was coming.
You know, we blaming the music, we blaming the nachos, we blaming
Everything is wrong.
we blaming the Bill Street Flippers ain't out there. We playing we ain't played whoop that trick. We playing
we ain't winning.
the music. We ass, bro. Like what are we talking about, bro? Like we're not good, bro. Like I think that's the reason why the energy is low in FedEx Forum, bro. Like I don't think it's the AC. I don't think it's crime. I don't think it's none of that, bro. Like we're ass.
I saw someone said something. They played. I guess the Grizzlies scored a basket and went to the timeout, and they said they played "Yeah" by Usher. They had a problem with that.
That's a pretty good song.
Ooh, yeah, about 12 points.
If I was up 12, I'd be like, yeah. Me and my girl the body. That's a pretty good song when you're winning. When you're losing, it's like hell no. They should be no.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. TJ, first things first, if you told me last week we were going 2-1, winning both of our first games, sign, seal, deliver, sign me up right then and there.
I think we said that on the episode.
I think we did as well.
I think that was verbatim.
And now it doesn't look as good as it once was.
You know, I think what is the most upsetting thing after, hindsight, looking back on it, you had two pretty decent wins.
Two pretty decent.
And you're still not ranked. That boggles my mind.
3 weeks in a row, we are number 26.
Receiving votes. You're receiving votes at least, but
Yeah, you're literally the
still
first team
ridiculous.
left out. How is that possible?
I got nothing, dude. It isn't impressive. And maybe, obviously, I think we know why they were left out, right? I mean, getting shellacked by Nova isn't really helping anything.
Shellackadick.
But
I mean, that was a
but
shellacking
still,
if you've ever seen.
I think you had.
But look, you're sitting right now, I mean, Mizzou has struggled. Obviously, we talked about the loss to Jackson State. They're sitting at 91st right now in KenPom. That is quite the drop. Where they were like 40th or something when we played them.
Yeah.
This is a tragedy. My KenPom literally just expired.
You're going to have to re-up that.
Legitimately just expired right now. This is live. I am entering in the 6-digit code that they just sent me to re-up my KenPom because now my data's gone. Anyway, the Michigan game felt like it was going to be a solid win. I think it's still fine. They're top 50.
It's a good win.
Of course, it's fine.
Yeah,
They're not. They're not looking like the team you thought that they probably were.
All right, let's put it.
Dude, we got so long. They
Let's
could
put
totally
it.
evolve.
Is Memphis the first half of Villanova? Is that who they are?
No.
Okay,
And I think
then
you have plenty that
apply.
says otherwise.
Apply that to Michigan. Apply that to
Sure.
Arkansas.
And that was my
Lord
thought
had
process.
mercy. regardless, you picked up 2 great wins. You looked good in both of them. Michigan, what? We were up 12 at half, got up by as many as 14. Caleb Mills was breaking people's ankles. We were knocking down 3 balls like crazy. Both of those games, I mean, I said it multiple times. It's weird to watch a Memphis team that has so many people on the floor
So many shooters, man.
that can drop a tray ball. I mean, Kenneth had been trying to tell us since June that Jourdain was dirty from behind the arc.
Hey,
And talk about dirty.
hey,
New age Angel Garcia.
hey. Whoa.
He's the new age Angel, dude. That stretch 4. Are you kidding me?
Through 5-6 games, he is far better and more productive than Angel ever was.
Speaking of, I've got a funny on-hill story I need to tell y'all off air.
Oh, goodness.
Off air. This is a tragedy. I still don't. It's telling me it expires today. Today is not over. It shouldn't be expired yet.
I think Gary put us in his top 25. Gary Parrish, that is. I was reading.
Yeah, he's got us 24th. I mean, but he's had us ranked for a while.
I know Roman Cleary has an article out on it. And I think he said that Gary has us ranked and Rothstein maybe.
There's multiple people. I mean, even I think Goodman had us ranked too.
Well, then Goodman has us ranked, and then
Yeah.
after the Villanova game comes
Goodman's
out
a
and says
goof.
Memphis isn't even a tournament
Guys,
team.
why did-
He's a goof.
he
Why
said
even
not a lock.
reference
Nobody's a
that dude?
lock. People,
nerd.
he's saying things because we react.
That's it.
That's why he does it.
Can't stand that dude.
Because goobers freak out. That's all it is. Looked damn good in the Arkansas game as well.
Yeah, I think you definitely
Two very
have-
solid wins, quad ones. You're probably sitting at 3-1 in quad one already, and it's
Once
not
you just
even.
log into.
I can't, Timothy. It's not working. My credit card's expired that they have on file. This is gonna be.
It's a travesty.
I mean, we may not get through the episode
So they're 5-1, and they have 4 quad one games already.
already.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Well, there's going to be a hard stop on the quad.
you're gonna hit a.
I don't know what the Virginia game. That's
Hit
not
a
even going to be
wall.
quad one, probably.
Maybe not in the moment, but it'll become one.
Hey,
I mean, they got
never
to stay
mind.
what top 30. I guess right now. Where's Virginia? No, they're 42nd.
These teams ain't trash that they're playing.
I'm not saying
No,
they're
no.
trash. They're just. I mean, what we were going into
not trash,
to
they're just
battle
not
for
good.
Atlantis, thinking that Arkansas was a top 15 team.
and they may be.
They
That's-
could be.
That's what. There's so much time, right?
They
And
may.
I think we have a larger sample size of the Tigers being a good team and looking like a top 25 team than we do them not looking like. We
mean,
have
that
literally
was-
a half of basketball where they're like garbage.
That was one of the most brutal
no, it was definitely the worst.
of any sport I've watched. And
Yeah, that was a tough one.
I mean, we're talking. It is. I said it in the Discord while we were like, it's actually sort of impressive to only make 4 or 5 shots an entire half of basketball, 20 full minutes of basketball, and at least with like a minute left, we might have made another one, but we had made 4 baskets. 4.
I feel like that takes effort to only score 4, to only hit 4 baskets and a half. That's
I mean, it reminds me, TJ wasn't there. He skipped to watch The Bachelor, I think. But national championship a couple years ago, we had our buddy's house at halftime. We went outside to play just a quick game of 21 or 3-on-3. I don't know what we were doing. But we threw up at halftime's ending, hey, next basket wins. We missed the entire third quarter. Literally nobody could score. And that's what it felt like. I mean, it was disgusting. There was, I don't know. We were at times even getting fine shots, just not making anything. I think we shot 15%.
Yeah, it was.
So what?
awful.
What were we at 44-16 at half? Oh my gosh.
I know.
Temple scored more than that in the football game.
Beforehand, we talked about it. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen Memphis score 20 points in a half.
TJ made a funny. He said, no way Ryan Silverfield would go out there and only score 16
It's true though. Tell me I'm wrong.
and a half. I don't know. He probably
Tell me I'm wrong.
he could have done that.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, the other impressive thing from that game, In the history ever, has a team gone on a 20+ nothing run and still been down 13
It
points?
was like 24-2. What was
20,
it?
22, 22-0, 24-2 run,
so it
and
was
you
a
were
real-
still down 13.
And some of that is obviously Villanova calling off the Dogs to an extent, but
Sure,
Memphis was
and-
also hitting shots for the
Well,
first
you're
time
hitting
all game.
shots. They were playing with a much greater intensity. It felt like
Sure.
defensively they were attacking the bat. Like it felt like they were playing harder. Obviously, like you said, Villanova had sat some guys, and you make a run. But still, I mean, a 20+ nothing run is. I mean, those don't happen every day, regardless of who's on the court. But to have that happen and still be down 13
I'll
is
ask you-
wild.
a question for you, and Kenneth, I want your opinion on it too. What? I think how to word this. Jordan Brown only played like I don't know how long.
What
it was,
is
10 minutes?
What's going on?
like 10? I swear it could not have been more than 10 minutes.
What's going
in that
on
game?
with JB?
He definitely does not look like the guy that came in as advertised. I know that. And I personally think it's the pace is hard for him, but like I don't know. What are you all's opinion on kind of what's going on there?
I mean, the only thing that I've said is what you just said, is that the pace that we're trying to play is not what he's comfortable with. But it looks like more like, I don't know. Even earlier in the year, he seemed fine. We weren't necessarily running stuff through him, but his touch was there. He was getting finish it. Like now, it's just, I mean, the dude doesn't even need to be on the floor, to be honest.
Like I know we weren't, in the room when it happened, but like I'm curious if he was sold on a DeAndre Williams-esque style focus of the offense. Like, hey man, we're gonna run a lot of things through you, just like we did with DeAndre. And then he gets here and it's like, oh, literally everybody is better than you, and we need to run the ball through them.
To me, it's just because you look at the way he played at Arizona, you look at the way he played at Louisiana. Was it Monroe?
Yeah,
Just Louisiana. Just straight.
Yeah.
up
Just straight
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
They dropped the Lafayette, and it's just Louisiana.
That's
these
what it
days.
was.
ULL. It's not ULL anymore.
Pretty sure it's just Louisiana.
He clearly, he's either. I know people like to use the excuse that he's getting into shape. Man, that excuse is over.
Where you been?
You've been here for 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, come on. That excuse has to be done. He looks labored in everything he does. And that's why it's one of those things where I mentioned a few weeks ago after the Missouri game that there was a moment in that Missouri game where I saw him not look labored, where it was like, oh, he's got some little pep in his step now. He's got a little bounce in he's got a little wiggle, in the post. It's just and it wasn't even just the Villanova game that he looked bad. He hasn't looked good. He didn't look good in any of the Bahama games.
Not a single game.
Not a single. I mean, maybe he's jet lagged. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a rough 3-game stretch for Jordan Brown. Like, really rough.
What game was it where he looked decent? Was it A&M? Alabama? Not yet. Mizzou?
Mizzou,
Yeah,
he
the
looked good in the
second
second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked decent, I guess, in the Alabama State game.
I said Alabama A&M. I meant Alabama State.
But, I mean, he's been, by far, for me, the most unimpressive
Sure.
of the portal guys since he's gotten here. And it's you hear rumors that he didn't pick up a ball for months while he was at while he was in the transfer portal,
Yeah.
and that's a concern because
Yeah,
that makes you go, do you even like playing the game?
Right.
And I don't want to go that far with Jordan Brown. Like, I don't want to say, hey, do you even like playing the game? But the fact that
if you're not picking up the ball for months, that's wild.
Part of me thinks it is because he is not a focal point in the offense. Because if you watch him get the ball down low, like he has moves, like he knows what to do to give himself a shot at it. But like outside of that, it just seems like he's uninterested being there, and I don't want to put that on him, right? Like kind of sounds like you're shitting on him pretty early on. And again, we're how many games in now? 7? 6 games in. So
It's not that he's not the focal point, because when he's in the game, he is the focal point. They get the ball. They actively try to get the ball in the post to him. The problem is that he doesn't. If you've played any kind of basketball in your life and have played in the post, you know that 90% of the work is done before you get the ball in your hands.
sure.
And that ain't happening for him. Like, he is getting the ball, and his hands are weak. He's getting it stripped. He's getting it taken. He's not getting it in a position where he's ready to play, like ready to make a move. I mean, it is his whole the energy around him when he's in the game feels way off right now.
He doesn't love the game.
I am not a fan of accusing somebody of not loving the game, but
Sure.
man, you come into your final season as a college player that out of shape and that, behind, whew, man, makes me question a lot.
Well, I mean, look, again, it's extremely early, but he's currently averaging 7 and 4. And for a team that, I know you guys are going to love this, needs rebounding, all the rebounding help that they can get, where is this guy at? I mean, not 7 foot. He's probably right under 7 foot. And he can't give you, I guess he can't give many rebounds if you're only playing 10 minutes a game, but he can give you 8 boards.
That is the one thing I hated
4
about
boards
these.
in 10 minutes ain't bad.
That's the one thing I hated about the Bahama games is I think how many of them they got out rebounded in all 3 games, right?
Yeah, of course they did.
And I was like, damn it. You got to come back on Monday and hear TJ. But you're right. Like you expected Jordan when he came in to be that 18 and 9, 18 and 10 guy that he was, that double machine. Whew, man. And that 7 and 4, bro. He's working his ass off to get that 7 and 4.
It's even like Jourdain, as good as he's
struggle.
been, I think as surprising as he's been for a lot of people, he's not necessarily a rebounder either. Like, we're pretty much relying on David Jones to do the ugly work on the boards.
You're relying on your guards to dump down in and help.
Yeah, and that, whatever, that's great. I think Lester did a good job of doing that, but it's like that's not something you can heavily rely on.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Michigan out-rebounded us by 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got that big dude.
That was back-to-back games because after Alabama State, they had 22 offensive rebounds. Michigan had 20. I mean,
The problem is they're not rebounding the ball. They're giving up a lot of rebounds. They're making their guards hang out and get rebounds. And what is it that Penny's team likes to do? Especially early on in the season, because here's the thing with Penny. He hasn't implemented a lot of his offense, which is a frustration for me. Like, implement that shit. Let's get it going. So when you're having to suck all the guards back down into the paint to get rebounds, ain't nobody running.
Yeah. Sure.
And so it's like that's how Penny is kind of feasted early on in his seasons that he's coached at Memphis is great defense, good rebounders, outlet passes, and go. And that's just not happening right now. They're getting stuck in possessions a lot.
They're also not really set up to rebound well, right? Like if you're just sitting there trying to run the entire time, you're typically going to be outmanned down low because everyone's already trying to run and get back.
You ain't got Jalen Duren.
Yeah, like you don't have a guy who should. Gosh, put Jalen on this team. Good Lord.
we didn't talk about it, but how about freaking Ashton Hardaway in game one?
It's great.
Best shooter in the family. What, 5 of 7 from 3?
Best shooter in the nation.
Leader in points was 17. I mean, if he hadn't have showed up, we probably wouldn't have won that game. But that goes back to what we've talked about all offseason and going into this. He wasn't necessarily a name that we put in this category, but like any night, any one of these guys could be the guy.
Sure.
I told y'all he was that guy.
And that went
I told you, TJ. TJ gave me the look.
that Wednesday, throwing up 17 on 6 and 9 from the field in 18 minutes.
Yeah.
the guy.
played great.
And then you go to Thursday with Arkansas, and you had a different guy. And this is one that you would expect to have a night and be the guy. But a night like this,
No, not that much.
when is the last time we had a guy go for 35 plus on 14 shots?
I can't call it.
David Jones in 33 minutes, 36 points, 4 of 8 from 3, 10 of 14 from the field, 12 of 14 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
5 steals, 4 boards, 2 assists, 1 foul. I mean, an absolute heck of a night.
You know, I was actually surprised that Jaquan was kind of not even necessarily quiet. I don't want to say quiet.
54 of 8, had 11, but
Yeah,
I mean, it
not
was-
quiet, but
it
I
was
just
DJ's night.
yeah, he just wasn't. I expected more of him in the tournament because of who he has been previously, and
Yeah.
I guess what he's done to Memphis every time we play him. It feels like, but yeah, Jones just went bananas. And if you're shooting like that, obviously hitting, I don't remember how many free throws. It felt like 20 free throws, but
Yeah, he's 12 of 14. But that stretch in the last minute of the first half of that game where he hits the corner three,
hits the threes.
gets the steal, comes down and hits the buzzer beater, lost my mind.
I love the Twitter we just call it Twitter. The timeline was just David Jones, like it literally back to back to back to back to back. It was wild.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Anything else stand out during time in paradise down there?
I mean, look, 2 games you look good. I think you picked up 2 solid wins. And, you know, as the way it stands today, they're obviously good wins. And I think they'll turn out to be good wins. Obviously, getting embarrassed by Villanova is absurd.
Right. I mean, I think you look at it, it was the 3rd game in 3 days. Out of 6 halves of basketball, you had 1, I won't even say bad because it was worse than bad, but you went 5 of 6 in halves of basketball.
Sure.
In 3 days.
Perfectly fine. I mean, I think you could counter it by saying Villanova didn't have that problem. But
They also couldn't miss in the first half.
yeah, it was
I mean, granted, we left the corner open 47 times in the first 5 minutes, so they were just hitting corner threes wide open.
I don't remember the actual number, but I think it was like 9 to 15 from 3 or something absurd like
I think they hit 8 in the first half. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
wild.
stupid. And you're not, it's kind of hard to come back from something like that. And then they did kind of come back to reality from 3, but then it was still just automatic inside.
Yeah.
I felt like so.
And I mean, you got to give the team credit. They did not. That's a game.
Sure.
Very easy to just roll it in. The last game of a trip. You know, last day you'll probably be there, but not to quit in the second half. You end up only losing by 16. Outscore them 47-35 in the second half, like we talked about the 22-0, 24-2 run, whatever you want to call it.
Do you think that the Memphis came in after beating Arkansas and Michigan, that they were like, dude, we are unstoppable at this point?
I don't
We're
know
going
that. I think it was a
undefeated.
combination of an emotional. You know, I mean, going back to Penny's days, like playing Arkansas, that was a big regional rivalry. Like, had a lot of good, like, played Arkansas. That was a game that we'd kind of grown up with. I'm sure there was a lot of emphasis on winning that game.
Yeah.
And I mean, we weren't there, but some of the X posts and stuff, there seemed to be a lot of celebratory, like that was a big win.
Sure.
So it's not, and I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I mean, coming out and laying an egg in the first half against Villanova is not so totally shocking. Like we said, going into this, 100% would have signed up for winning the first 2 and losing in the championship. I think that's all you could do. Now, the downside of it is you literally lost in the worst fashion possible you could have. Like, let's just lose maybe 5, 6, 7, I don't know, maybe even 10. You get down 35. We now are 10 spots worse in the metrics than we were before that stupid tournament even started. And we
That's so
picked up
crazy.
2 top 55 wins
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
because you lost so badly.
Well, I think we've also seen teams lose and people still rank them higher.
I'm not
But
even
that
talking
is
about the
someone's
rank. I'm talking
opinion
straight
versus the absolute metrics. Like, this is a computer saying, like, hey, man, you were better off staying at home,
Yeah.
which is absurd.
which is crazy given the fact that you beat Michigan and Arkansas.
They look brutal that first.
But hey, some people say Ken Palm is doo-doo till January, so Maybe I won't resub till January. It doesn't matter anyway.
I have
Good
a
to keep in the
question
back
for
of your
you.
mind.
I have a question for y'all before you move on from basketball. One of the questions y'all talked about, or one of the topics y'all discussed last week, was the rotations. And
I was going to bring it up.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the
don't wanna
weird
talk about
standout things is Penny's like throwing people out there that out of nowhere. I mean, Carl,
He is damned to run a 15-man line, a whole team out there. I don't
I mean,
understand it.
it's wild. Some of the people that he throws in certain situations that just like haven't been seeing any time recently, and then all of a sudden, come Arkansas game, Carl's out there out of nowhere.
You know, I joked about it.
There was somebody else. Who was the other? I can't even think of it now. He threw somebody else.
Jonathan
Was it Jonathan?
Pierre.
He threw
Pierre
Jonathan
ran-
out there. Was that in the Michigan
He
game?
Did not look.
No, that was in the Villanova game.
Villanova.
Didn't look the part, guys.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. I think they're just trying to do.
Is
something.
it just like
give
a
a spark?
Is it a feel thing? He's just like,
Well, Villanova, I think you understand. You got to try anything you got, anything that's in your bag, throw it out there.
I mean, it was only 3 minutes, but
It was in the first
It was
half.
in the first half at a point where, like, yeah,
What was the quote that Rick said? Like,
it's not the time to experiment. It's
yeah,
time to win a
stop
game.
experimenting and time
Yeah.
to win the damn game. It's perfect. It's almost poetry. I want to get that in like a decal, like not a fat hat, but like those, wall decals.
Just like a sticker.
Yeah, just put it on this wall right here.
Why not here?
Because I want to be able to look at it.
Put it back there by the clock.
Thanks, Anthony, for fixing the clock.
It's
by the way.
now correct. We had a week off. We got a big one down in Oxford this weekend, 1 o'clock. ESPN 2. The 5-0 Rebs. They've struggled, though.
They're not good, Bob.
ESPN's BPI, I'll have to give that because Ken Palm's not letting me see. Ken Palm had it at a 5-point Tiger win. I know that. ESPN BPI gives us a 52.2% chance to win down in
Seems
Oxford.
pretty low.
Should be a real decent crowd down there. I think they seat about 10,000. I'll be down there. I'm going to make the trip down. Last time I went down there was not a great trip. That was the old Amani sitch where their student section absolutely hammered him the whole game. He was a 16-year-old child out there, and they were just going at him. So hopefully this one turns out much better.
You said a 52% chance to win, right?
According to BPI. Yeah, that's not nearly as high as I would have thought that it would have been. I would have said 65 plus because they only beat Alabama State by 10. They beat Eastern Washington by 11. They beat Powerhouse Detroit Mercy by 1, Powerhouse Sam Houston State by 3, and then they beat Temple by 1 this weekend.
Well, did you say the spread?
There's no spread currently, but Ken Palm had it at a 75-70 win for us, I think, or 76-71, something like that.
52 seems weird. Do they know something we don't know?
I don't know. I think it's that Villanova game is hurting us.
Okay.
I'm just telling you,
I know.
metrically,
I'm
it
with
was
you. I don't understand the concept
It's a
behind it. You
bad
have
game.
one bad game. We'll say
One
the whole
bad
game
half,
was bad.
really.
I know. We'll say the whole game is bad. Even then, what you did against Arkansas, Missouri, and Michigan, all combined, all are better teams than Ole Miss. So, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Ole Miss is currently one.
It's on Ken Palm, so I'm about to look that up.
Yeah, 129th in Ken Palm.
Who's the closest team that we have played around them? I know you're prepared for that question, of course. Is it Missouri at 91?
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Yeah, it's got to. Yeah, it's Missouri. It's
Uh,
it's Missouri.
goofy. Just goofy. I mean, I imagine it's going to be like a 10-point spread.
No.
Yes, it will be true.
On the road,
Dude, they're trash.
it's going to be Memphis minus 5.5, 6.5.
Trash.
Probably.
Yeah, it probably will be something like that. But
It might get up to 10 after you throw a couple stacks on it with your 50-50 TJ. Let's get into it.
no, I don't want to do this anymore. It's
TJ,
not
what are
fun.
you at now? 6-6, literally.
6 and 7, I think.
There's no way you're at 13. We've had 12 picks.
Okay, it is 6-6, which is what I said earlier.
We'd have to go back and look at last episode. What
I picked Ole Miss to win by
TJ had
10
them
and a half.
covering 10.5. They won by 10.
This is the worst Egg Bowl ever.
Yeah, that was a really bad Egg Bowl.
The state is awful. How was it even relatively close?
Yeah, I don't know. Their interim coach rode out on a four-wheeler, said something about this is adversity in life. I didn't get it. Did you see all that?
No, but
It was a lesson about adversity, riding a four-wheeler out.
Makes perfect sense.
It's a very state thing to do.
It is. It was like a Honda Foreman. Do you know who he was running?
No, I'm not very familiar with the Forerunner.
Okay.
I mean the four-wheelers. Very familiar with the Forerunner.
Quite familiar with the Forerunner, hopefully.
What do you got this week?
I don't even want to talk about
Try
it.
to get
I'm going to pick
above
Boise.
500.
No, I'm going to pick Boise State.
Yeah, the shout out to the Tigs if Boise wins this and we beat the Mountain West
The Mountain
Conference
West champion.
champion, that's something to hang your hat on.
I think I'm more so trying to convince myself that if Boise wins, then it's obviously a more credible win, right? I mean, yes, they fired their coach, and they've got this Spencer Danielson dude who they've actually played. I think they're 2-0 under him so far. They have played pretty hard for him. I'm sure. I think he's going for the head coaching job, but if it's me, I'm hiring Kellen Moore and giving him any dollar amount that he wants and calling it a day. But I think it's Boise +3.
Seeing it at Boise -2.5.
Or minus, I said plus. I meant -3. But yes,
Minus
I'm taking
2.5.
Boise to cover that.
I don't hate it. I mean, that was something that I wanted.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if I pick it,
I know.
it's going to be a loss. If you pick it, it's a win. That's just how things work.
I'm not going to pick the same game. I've moved to 8-3-1. Oregon covered easy against Oregon State. Gosh. I don't want to mess around with Navy. They're doo-doo. Georgia, Alabama. I don't know what to pick.
Do you
I
like
cannot
the-
believe Oregon's -9.5.
Big 12 champion. Get real weird there.
Oklahoma State, Texas,
Yeah, that's real weird to me.
plus 15.
Yeah, that one's a weird one for me.
I'll take Oklahoma State plus 15. I think they keep it 2 scores.
Yeah, 15 is just like a lot of points. I know
It
Texas
is.
looked really good last week.
I'll go Oklahoma State. Let's go Cowboys.
Yeah, what they
Come
do
a long way since getting absolutely obliterated in week 2 by South Alabama. Where it was like 34-3 or something. Now they're playing for the Big 12 title.
Yeah, Texas won 57-7 versus Texas Tech last
I
week.
don't care. Red Raiders are doo-doo. Oklahoma State plus 15 it is.
You're welcome. I better
Um,
lose though.
I'll take it. I'll go 8-4-1.
It's not bad. That turns profit.
You don't like that? You hate Santa Claus.
And you probably don't vote.
That's the word on the street.
I knew that was going to come up.
All right,
in
let's
some
get to
form or
this
facet.
coconut milkshake. It's grown on me. Still not sticky though.
It wasn't like actually sticky. My mouth was sticky. because
TJ,
I just
it
needed a
tastes like
sip of water.
It tastes like suntan
Suns-
lotion.
Yes, it is definitely suntan lotion.
I mean, it's like I had a beer that somebody spilt
Smell
banana bread in. I mean, I can smell it every time I drink it.
It's on my face.
It wasn't as bad as I was anticipating. I
No,
think
those
it's
first couple of sips really punched me in the nuts. Though.
I don't know that they need the name. I don't know that milkshake needs to be in. If it was just coconut IPA, I think that's accurate.
I'm sure there's a phrase like there's a reason it's a milkshake.
I mean, there may be. It's not dark. It's light. I think you cut it off at coconut IPA, and that settles it.
You think there's actually milk in there?
It does say it says on the can contains lactose, so that would be why.
That would be that's nasty. Like
the fact that
smell
you
it
just
on
I'm gonna throw up
mustache.
probably.
so
Why is there milk in here?
that's so gross.
it's not really like milk.
Milk needs to go away.
Yeah, I'm
It's-
not a milk guy by any means.
Ugh.
I'm trying to read what the
That's
hell
why it was stick.
milkshake IPA.
My
what that
gag
means.
reflex is about to get triggered. I like this can though.
So milkshake IPA would be like a hazy IPA brewed with milk sugar.
Oh,
That's what this
Trey's
guy
gonna
said.
throw up.
What is milk sugar?
They use lactose, which is unfermentable milk sugar.
Good thing I'm not lactose intolerant. Did you read this before you gave it to me?
No, Like I've drank milkshake stout or like milkshake IPAs before, and I just didn't really think about it. But like,
I like this can. I'm going
It's a cool
6.8 on the can, which is equal to the
alcohol by volume.
ABV. It's a good can. It's very tropical. Like the color scheme.
It is a cool can.
Like that setting. Got the coconuts there. Sunset in the background.
The name Tropical AF is kind of funny. I don't know if AF means what
Something
we think
else other than
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
As frick.
We'd have to look that up.
It may actually mean something else.
It
But no, I'm with
probably
you. I think it's
does.
a cool can. I'm gonna go probably a flat 7 on it.
Did you drop this on the way here?
No, well, it's not this beer. The one beer I gave you had like a nipple on the side of it, essentially. So I put that back because it's
I've been hanging out with it in here.
it had something weird going on with it.
The one that contains lactose didn't have the nipple?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 7 on the can. I think that the can is actually pretty creative. So shout out to the guy at Meddlesome, whoever created this.
It's a couple of coconuts on here.
Coconut.
I was going to rate
don't know
this
how to
higher until
rate
you told
this
me
thing.
there was milk sugar stuff in here.
I don't know how to grade it. I'm gonna be real honest.
I don't know either. It's very weird. I mean, I got through it.
Would you drink a second one?
That's no.
No.
Right
Which-
now, I don't know that I will drink a second one of these in my life ever. This may be the one and only tropical AF that I ever consume. Mainly because it felt like I was drinking a bottle of melted Banana Boat sunscreen.
Oh,
I do think this would be much better on draft than it is in can.
It also probably needs to be like ice cold.
Very cool. That's what I'm saying. Like draft, I think it would be much.
Maybe
cooler.
even if, sometimes you put them in the way back of a fridge and they get a little beer slush, maybe even slush style it might have.
like my stomach hurts just y'all talking about it. Like,
let's be honest. It's fine.
It was not as bad as
It's fine.
We're probably
Just your
making
first
it
couple
sound.
of sips, it hits you, and it's like
right off the
that
bat.
is
It is
very coconut.
yes,
Very coconut,
very much so. Very sunscreeny.
and not like the almond joy we were talking about. I'm talking about like you're on Survivor, like surviving off coconut, like toasted coconut. Like that is like, you don't watch Survivor, dude? That's literally all they ever eat.
That's
and
toasted
bugs.
coconut.
Yeah, they'll put it on the fire and roast the coconut, cook it.
I've never really watched Survivor.
Well, we watched every single episode ever. So
That's impressive.
great show.
You ever watch Amazing Race?
We got through like 4 seasons. Then they started doing like a family
Think we-
version
do you
only in
think-
the U.S.
Do you
We,
think
like,
that
drop
we could be a
No,
good
I'd
team?
want to effing fight you by the time we get to the airport.
Okay.
Probably.
Flying is back on the table now. For a little while, they just all flew together. Now you actually have to go to the airport and like book a flight
Yeah, that sounds like a
They brought it
madhouse.
back.
I would be not interested in
with
that.
no phone or anything.
And you always got to do a zip line. There's always a zip line. They
I would
always
do that.
find.
I would do that one for you. You would do the eating thing.
No, I don't want any bugs.
It doesn't have to be bugs.
I don't know.
It could be cow tongue.
Also, right there with bugs.
Speaking of which, that came up because the guys that are doing the painting and stuff for us, I asked them hey, what are you making for dinner tonight?
That's very beef lingua or whatever. Very popular.
Cow tongue tacos.
Very popular. I think it's called lingua.
They didn't say that. They just said cow tongue,
No,
beef tongue.
Let me find my phone, dude.
You
Let me look
boil
this
it
up.
and then like deep fry it and then slice it up.
Yeah. Kenny, you ever had cow tongue?
I've had cow brain.
You're sick, dude.
And you're gagging about a little bit of lactose in a beer?
Yeah, you're out there eating fruit. You ever seen a cow's tongue, dude?
I mean, they're huge. Aren't they black?
No. I'm gonna throw up,
Let me see.
dude.
Just a picture of the tongue? Like
Yeah.
natural?
Yeah, like what is that?
Okay, that's not what I was envisioning.
Exactly.
I thought you
it
meant
is
just
called
like
lingua.
a cow with its tongue hanging out, TJ, not it on a plate. Like
Like that's lingua, man.
somebody's eating that?
Anyway, yeah, this beer is like
They look like
6.3
bologna
on taste.
carved into
Yeah,
the shape of a tongue.
Yeah, yeah, that's about what that was.
You rated this what?
Like probably like a 6.3.
And you wouldn't drink another one?
No, I think my My drink another one's at like 7.
Interesting. 6.3 seems high.
No,
I was gonna go
it's very niche. Like I think if you drink this, you're, outside of having
how many
a podcast that
six
drinks local
packs
beers.
of Tropical AF do you think that they sell?
Oh, I mean,
Like straight. I'm not talking somebody builds one and throws a Tropical AF. I'm saying walk in. Hey, y'all got a 6er of Tropical AF? Let me get it.
I don't think they make these in 6ers. I'm gonna let you know the place I got these had a full row of them. Full row.
All right, with that
singles?
name, with Tropical AF being the name, it seems to be some classic like marketing for a beach vacation. Is that a beach vacation beer?
See, that's what I don't. The milkshake part of it's throwing me off.
Well,
Like, what's the niche that you would drink that? Like,
you just people that are
On
in
the show.
they like beer and milk together. That's clearly you have to be into that kind of thing.
A lot of coconut.
No, I think it's just fun, right? Like there's a peanut butter milkshake stout that I've had, and I like peanut butter. So like I tried it, and it tasted like beer with peanut butter, kind of. It was weird, but like I tried it. Here we are. They make these for people. They make these for people who have beer podcasts. That's clearly what's going on.
6.3 feels high. I was gonna go more like 5.2.
wow.
Wow.
I
This
mean, it's
might
just
be the biggest differential between the two of y'all.
six. I don't. This is not a 6er for sure. I mean, something in the 6s I would drink again. I don't know that I will.
Here's the thing.
I finished it. 12 ounces.
I'm trying to look it up.
Will be the only 12 ounces of Tropical AF.
I am giving it the benefit of the doubt
What are
because
you looking at?
I'm trying to look up what tropical AF means.
It's tropical. We know what it means.
No, you don't.
Tropical as
Not. It's not
I don't
always
think
what
that's
you
true.
think.
I don't think that's true. I think tropical AF means something different.
I think you're overthinking it.
Probably, actually, but I don't know that to be true.
You haven't found it.
I have not found it, man.
All right. Well, we're wasting people's time, TJ.
It's obviously not helpful that they. This is a summer beer, by the way. How long has this bad boy been sitting?
I
in
mean,
that
it tastes
store?
like suntan lotion. You thought it was a Christmas beer?
No. I did
Not
get
in
some Christmas beer.
Australia.
I got us some Christmas beers though. Kinda.
Did you?
No. Kinda though. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Try it out. Get weird.
Kenny, you ain't lying. This thing's still. Whoa.
I don't want to do it. I stuck
do
my
it.
nose in that bottle earlier.
Just do it.
Kenny saw me.
I don't know.
I was raw dogging that
It's
thing
been
earlier.
rejuvenated, electrified. Throw a little bit of that Tropical AF
All right,
in
send
there.
a sinus out while I do this.
Put some fart spray in it. Oh, goodness. Hey, like, subscribe, comment, get yourself some smelling salts, sniff with us next time. Come with a cold beer, stay for the hot takes and the smelling salts. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.